Have you ever stood in front of your closet and felt a kind of quiet sadness? Not because you have nothing to wear, but because everything hanging there somehow feels like it belongs to a version of you that no longer exists. You reach for your favorite blouse from 10 years ago, and instead of excitement, you feel hesitation. You try it on, hoping for magic, but what stares back in the mirror is not the vibrant woman you once saw, it's someone you barely recognize. The fabric doesn't sit right, the color feels wrong, the silhouette doesn't speak for the woman you are today, and suddenly you wonder, is it me that's changed? Or the clothes? The truth is we evolve, our bodies shift, yes. But more than that, our spirit, our priorities, our energy, they transform. And somewhere in that transformation, style can feel like it's slipped through our fingers. The fashion world, with its endless trends and ever younger faces, doesn't always leave room for the wisdom and grace that come with age. And it certainly doesn't pause to ask, what would feel beautiful for a woman in her 60s, 70s, or beyond? But I will, because I know that beauty didn't leave you when your waistline changed. It didn't fade with your hair color. It didn't disappear the day you retired or the moment your arms softened. In fact, it's still there. It's just waiting for you to dress in a way that honors it again. You don't need a new face. You don't need a new body. You don't need to chase youth to be seen as elegant, radiant, or confident. What you need is something far more powerful and far more accessible. You need clothes that meet you where you are now. Clothes that speak to the woman you've become, not the girl you used to be. And sometimes all it takes is the right blouse. This video isn't about chasing trends. It's not about looking younger for the sake of fitting in. It's about remembering that style is not something you lose, it's something you reclaim. And I'm here to guide you back to it, one elegant, thoughtful choice at a time. Over the next few parts of this journey, I'm going to show you how to rediscover your beauty through clothing. We'll explore the principles that make a blouse not just flattering but emotionally empowering. We'll uncover the styles that drape, lift, soften, and celebrate you, not hide you. And most importantly, we'll rediscover the quiet joy that comes from looking in the mirror and seeing not perfection but presence. So if you've ever looked at yourself and thought, where did I go? This is for you. If you've ever felt invisible in a store, or dismissed in a dressing room, or frustrated by fashion that seems to forget that women over 60 still want to feel beautiful, this is your invitation to come home to yourself. Because style is not about impressing others, it's about expressing yourself. And yourself, dear one, is still worth celebrating. Let's begin. There's something deeply healing about realizing that style doesn't disappear with age, it simply changes form. In the same way that our days become quieter, our pace more thoughtful, our conversations more intentional, the way we dress can evolve with the same grace. No longer bound by the need to impress or prove, we begin to choose what truly feels like us. But how do we begin again, after years of chasing trends that no longer fit or hiding behind shapes that shrink our spirit? The answer begins with awareness, gentle awareness of how clothes make us feel. Not just how they look, but how they move with us, how they breathe, how they rest against our skin. And when it comes to feeling ageless and elegant, nothing matters more than three things: the line, the fabric, and the fit. Lines are the invisible language of clothing. A clean, uninterrupted line tells the eye, flow here. It gives direction, grace, and elongation. A soft vertical seam, a gentle curve at the hem, the way a blouse falls just past the hip, they are all whispers to the eye to keep moving, keep lifting. This is why we feel taller, more poised, more grounded when we wear a blouse that doesn't chop us in half with harsh seams or distractions. The body loves flow, and the eye loves a path to follow. Choose clothes that create harmony, not chaos. Look for shapes that echo your energy, calm, confident, unhurried. A neckline that elongates, a sleeve that floats instead of clings, a hemline that softens rather than shouts. These are not rules, they are invitations to move with grace through your day. Fabric is the soul of a garment. It can hold us or stiffen us, it can soothe or irritate. And at this stage in life, comfort isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. But not the kind of comfort that comes from bagginess or surrender. True comfort comes from kind textures. Fabrics that breathe, that drape, that allow your skin to rest without friction. Cotton that feels like a gentle hug. Chiffon that dances with the breeze. Light knits that stretch just enough to follow your shape without smothering it. The wrong fabric can age you not because of what it shows, but because of how it makes you feel. And when you feel out of place in your own skin, it shows in your walk, your shoulders, your eyes. You deserve better. You deserve to feel at ease not just at events, but in the ordinary rhythm of your life. The way your blouse moves when you reach for your tea, the way the sleeve falls when you wave to your neighbor, these quiet moments matter. Because they tell you and the world, I am still here and I am still me. And then there is fit, not tight, not oversized, just yours, the kind of fit that skims instead of squeezes, that defines instead of hides, that remembers your waist exists even if it's shifted, that honors your shoulders even if they've softened. Fit is not about perfection. It's about connection between the garment and the person wearing it. When a blouse fits well, it doesn't demand attention. It gives confidence. You don't tug at it, you don't second guess it. You wear it and you walk out the door feeling like yourself again. If that sounds simple, that's because it is. We've been taught to complicate fashion with layers of judgment, comparison, expectation. But what if the only goal of style was this, to feel more at home in your own body? And color, oh color, it changes everything. As we age, our skin loses some of its natural contrast, and colors that once made us glow may now feel stark or heavy. That black blouse that used to feel chic might now drain your energy. That bright white might feel like a spotlight you didn't ask for, but soft colors, luminous tones, they hold you differently. Ivory, misty rose, sage green, dusty lavender, pale navy. These are the shades that reflect light onto your face, bring softness to your features, and allow your presence to shine through without noise. You don't have to disappear into dull tones. But you also don't have to shout with bold ones. Color, when chosen with care, becomes a quiet celebration. A way of saying, I'm still radiant and I choose to be seen gently. When you combine graceful lines, kind fabrics, intentional fit, and soulful color, something beautiful happens. You stop dressing out of habit. You stop hiding in your clothes. You begin to choose with presence. And slowly you begin to recognize yourself again, not the version you used to be, but the woman you've become. There is wisdom in the way your body has changed. There is grace in your posture, even if it's no longer as straight. There is power in your eyes, even if they need glasses now. You are not less beautiful, you are simply more whole. And when your clothing matches that wholeness, you glow in a way that no makeup can replicate. You feel like yourself. And that is the most stylish thing a woman can be. There's a moment, a quiet, almost imperceptible moment, when you slip on a blouse and something in you exhales. You don't tug at the hem, you don't glance nervously in the mirror. You simply stand there feeling right. The fabric knows where to fall. The neckline opens just enough to lift your collarbones. The sleeves dance lightly around your arms without clinging. It doesn't transform you into someone else. It brings you back to yourself. Every woman deserves a few of these pieces in her life. Not just clothes that fit, but clothes that understand. And though we're told fashion is about trends, the truth is, real style lives in the details. It lives in a collar that softens your face, a drape that flows past the waist instead of cutting it, a texture that glides instead of grips. These small, quiet choices matter more than any runway ever could. Because they remind us that elegance isn't something you chase. It's something you return to. There's something about a blouse with a gentle sheen, a soft satin or silk-like texture that catches the light and lifts your expression even before you smile. You don't need the real thing. A well-made satin blend will do just fine. What matters is how it moves, how it reflects just enough glow to soften your features even on the days you skip makeup, how it whispers against your skin like a secret only you need to know. These are the blouses that make you carry yourself taller, not because they're fancy, but because they remind you you're worth softness. Then there's the quiet authority of a crisp white button-down, not the corporate kind that stiffens your shoulders, but the version reimagined for grace. A blouse with a gentle collar, a curved hem, a bit of stretch, and tailoring that knows your shape has changed. You slip it on and suddenly you feel composed, not constrained. Like you could go to lunch, lead a meeting, or simply sit by the window with a book and feel equally at home in your skin. Some days call for definition, a shape that meets you at the waist and says, let's honor this beautiful body. That's where the wrap blouse becomes a companion. Its V-neckline lifts the neck. The soft tie cinches, not tightly, just enough to remind you that your waist is still here, still worth defining, still yours. The way the fabric crosses gently, following the natural curve of your torso, is not just flattering, it's affirming. It tells you you can be soft and structured all at once. And then there's the blouse that feels like a breeze. Light, flowing, unstructured but never shapeless. Maybe it has gathered sleeves, maybe a soft neckline that doesn't compete with your face. Maybe the fabric moves when you do, trailing just a little, like a thought you haven't spoken out loud. These are the pieces you reach for on warm days, on slow mornings, on afternoons when comfort is queen. But make no mistake, this isn't about hiding, it's about ease. Effortless elegance that lets you move freely through your life without sacrificing beauty. There's another kind of beauty in sheer sleeves. Chiffon, georgette, gentle overlays that offer a veil of softness without concealment. They frame the arms, skim the shoulder, and add a sense of airiness that feels like you're wrapped in light. They give you just enough coverage to feel held without ever feeling closed in. They suggest confidence, the kind that doesn't need to be loud to be felt. Then, in contrast, the quiet strength of a boat neck blouse. It doesn't scream. It balances. It widens the shoulder line just enough to lift the entire silhouette. And somehow, it reminds you to stand a little taller. There's something so beautifully architectural about that horizontal neckline, it brings the face into focus. It invites the world to meet your gaze. There are days for soft denim too, not the kind that stiffens or restricts, but chambray or washed denim that feels broken in, lived in, loved. These blouses say, I've been through life and I still choose to show up fully. They're a kind of armor, but a gentle one, casual enough for errands, graceful enough for conversation. A denim blouse tucked into trousers or worn open over a tank, this is how you say, I dress for me. And sometimes all you need is texture. A few simple pleats falling gently down the front. They elongate, they suggest order and refinement. A small detail, but so powerful. The way the fabric folds, not to hide you, but to echo your quiet strength. These pieces do more than flatter. They listen, they respect the life your body has lived. Prints, when chosen with care, can be poetry. Tiny florals, subtle dots, gentle shapes. Nothing too loud, just enough to create depth, to whisper individuality. These are the blouses that say, I'm still playful, I still find joy in beauty. But I don't need to shout to be heard. And on the simplest days, a tunic in linen blend, breathable, unassuming, elegant in its restraint. It flows past the waist, maybe brushing the thigh, never clinging. It catches the breeze, it says, I'm here. I'm comfortable, I'm not trying, I'm just being. And somehow that is the most powerful style statement of all. Every blouse tells a story, not just about fabric or fashion, but about the woman inside. Her needs, her memories. Her evolving sense of self. When you choose with care, when you put on something that feels kind to your skin, that honors your shape, that lifts your face instead of dragging it down, something in you realigns. You remember that elegance was never about being perfect. It was always about being present. And if you've forgotten that for a little while, it's okay. Today you can remember. There comes a time in life when you stop dressing for occasions and start dressing for yourself. A time when you realize that elegance is not in the label, but in the way something makes you feel. And while clothes shape the canvas, it is the accessories, the quiet details that bring the story to life. The shoes you choose, the earrings you wear without thinking, the bag that holds your life and still makes you feel like art. These aren't just objects, they're memories, signals, sentences in the language of you. Let's start at the ground, your shoes, not the ones that hurt your feet but matched your outfit. The ones that carried you through long days, laughter, heartbreak, and new beginnings. There's a kind of wisdom in the way a woman over 50 chooses her shoes. She no longer tolerates pain disguised as beauty. She knows that comfort isn't weakness, it's strength. A pair of soft leather flats in a color that makes her smile. Low heels that let her stand tall without strain. Sandals that whisper freedom. Each pair becomes a symbol of how she chooses to walk through life. With grace, with ease, with dignity. Then there are the bags we carry. Once they were statements. Now they are companions, not too heavy, not too big. Just enough space for what matters. A good bag doesn't just match your outfit, it matches your pace. A crossbody that keeps your hands free to hug, to hold, to wave. A soft leather satchel that ages beautifully with you. A clutch with a hidden story. You pick it up and it reminds you of a trip, a gift, a day you felt invincible. The texture under your fingers is more than fabric, it's memory. And earrings. Oh, the poetry of earrings. They frame your face like punctuation. Sometimes they are periods, simple, elegant, done. Sometimes commas, delicate, playful pauses. And sometimes they are exclamation marks, bold, joyful, unapologetic. There is power in choosing what to place near your eyes, your jaw, your hair. Studs that catch the light without stealing the show. Pearls that say, I know who I am and I don't need to explain. A single hoop that sways when you laugh. These are not ornaments, they are extensions of voice, a way of saying, I am still radiant, I still deserve beauty. Scarves become more than protection from the cold. They become softness around the neck, movement in the wind, color near the face. A scarf is a way to turn an ordinary outfit into something intimate. You loop it once, twice, tuck it gently. It doesn't scream trend, it whispers thoughtfulness. It's what you reach for on days when you need a hug but no words. It's the gesture of self-wrapping, of saying, I care how I feel today. Even sunglasses tell a story, not just of sun protection but of boldness, of presence. The way you slide them on when stepping into the day. The way they shield your eyes when you need space. The way they catch your reflection and remind you that you are, in fact, still striking, still strong, still watching the world on your own terms. These accessories, these details, they are not afterthoughts. They are evidence that you have curated your life, that nothing is random anymore. You choose how you show up, and it's not for applause, it's for alignment. Each item you reach for in the morning says something deeper than style. It says, I know what matters to me, I know what fits me, I know what brings me peace. And the most powerful accessory of all, your presence. The way you walk into a room without shrinking. The way you tilt your head when you listen. The way you laugh without apology. No blouse, no bag, no pair of shoes can do what your spirit does when it chooses to shine. But when those pieces support that light, when your earrings dance as you move, when your bag swings softly by your side, when your shoes carry you forward with confidence, they don't steal the spotlight. They hold it for you. Style at this stage is not performance. It's communion with your history, with your taste, with your freedom. The freedom to wear color on a gray day, the freedom to wear flats to a party. The freedom to wear red lipstick just because you feel like it. These are the real accessories, courage, comfort, clarity. So tomorrow, when you reach for your earrings, your scarf, your favorite pair of shoes, know that you're not just finishing an outfit. You're finishing a sentence that began years ago. You're adding punctuation to a life already rich with meaning. And when someone compliments your style, smile, not because they saw something beautiful, but because you remembered to honor it. You. So now you've reached the end, or maybe the beginning, because when you walk through a journey like this, not a style tutorial, not a list of rules, but a soft unfolding of self, something quiet and powerful begins to shift. You don't just look in the mirror differently, you live in your body differently. You start to see your clothes not as a way to fix yourself, but as a way to honor her. The woman who's lived. The woman who's lost and loved. The woman who, maybe for a while, forgot how radiant she is, but never stopped carrying that light inside. Maybe you watched these parts out of curiosity. Maybe you watched them out of longing. Maybe you just wanted to feel less invisible in a world that tells women after 50 to shrink. But something deeper happened along the way. You remembered. You remembered that elegance is not something you earn, it's something you return to. That softness is not weakness, that comfort is not giving up, that style is not vanity, it's a language. In every blouse, every color, every step in your favorite shoes, every earring that catches the light is a sentence in that language. A language that says, I'm still here, I'm still me, I'm still becoming. You didn't need a makeover. You needed a mirror that could reflect back more than your reflection. One that could show you your presence, your peace. Your permission to feel beautiful again, not for them, but for you. Because style at this season of life is not about being seen, it's about being felt. It's about waking up and choosing to meet yourself with care, with color, with dignity. It's not about looking younger, it's about walking forward with softness and strength, side by side. And if something in these 4 parts reminded you of who you are beneath the layers, if one fabric, one phrase, one whispered truth brought you closer to your center, then that was the real work. Not changing your wardrobe, but changing the way you stand inside it. You don't have to rush to the store, you don't have to buy a thing, just begin with what you have. Begin with the blouse that feels kindest. the earrings that make you feel luminous, the shoes that let you walk tall. And tomorrow, when you open your closet, ask gently, not what should I wear, but who am I meeting today? And let your clothes answer that question with grace. Thank you for walking with me. Thank you for listening not just with your ears, but with your heart. You've just completed more than a style series, you've completed a homecoming. And now you know the way back to yourself, always.